just popping over to a local small estate where I've got 3 trail cameras set. I'm going to collect those cameras, bring them in now and check the cards, and while I'm at it I thought I'd just share a few little tips on how I set them up and help people get better results from their trail cams. Ollie's seen a hare ahead of us. Hopefully she won't let me down. Here's one of my metal high seats on this long narrow meadow. Really productive spot this. There's got red, roe, Chinese water deer and quite a lot of muntjac in this area. This is one of my Minox cameras, reasonably cost effective camera. You can see the area it's looking over is a wet, reedy bottom to this paddock. The Chinese water deer really love it down here. See quite a lot of red deer too, so it'll be great to see what's on this card. With the sun rising in the east and setting in the west, and obviously with deer being most active at dawn and dusk, I try not to have the cameras, you know, facing east or west. So I either have them facing generally north or south if they're in the open like that one was. If they're in the woods it's not so important. Depends what I see in terms of deer trails and open areas, but generally speaking either having facing them north or south is not a bad idea. A natural pinch point or funnel like this gap in the hedge here would seem a good place, particularly with the game trails running off it, but you've got to remember it's also a place where people are going to go to, so if security is an issue for your cameras then you have to be careful in areas like this, obvious areas. I always use these Energizer lithium AA batteries. I used to use really cheap no-name batteries, but the performance is just nowhere near as good as these lithium ones. They cost quite a lot of money, but they last a long time, especially in the cold weather in the winter. They're really worth the extra investment. I know some people use rechargeable batteries. Might be an option if it's a camera that you're checking quite frequently, but I sometimes leave mine out for a couple of months at a time, so that wouldn't cut it there. The lithium ones really make a difference. This particular camera is a Browning. It's gives better quality pictures than the Minox ones, but it probably costs twice as much, so somewhere in there's a balance whether you want more lower quality cameras just for records of what you've got on the ground, or whether you really want some good images. You've seen in the other clips that I tend to use cable ties to hold the cameras to the trees. I sometimes use the normal strap too, especially if there's a big tree that I need to get around. But I do think these cable ties just add a layer of security. Obviously they're not going to stop anyone cutting it and taking it if they really want to. But if you didn't have a Swiss Army knife or a pocket knife on you, you probably would struggle to get this off. And for the casual thief or person who interferes with your cameras, I think they offer some level of deterrent. In terms of height, I'm generally setting my cameras about 18 inches, not more than 2 feet off the ground. I tend to get a lot of muntjac and roe on my sights, so I find this just perfect. Sometimes you just get the lower legs of a red deer that's walking past, but that's quite funny in itself, so I don't worry too much about that. Obviously if they're much higher as well, then they become much more visible to the casual observer. Most of the time I tend to set the cameras either on game trails or on areas particularly where there's 2 or 3 trails coming together, or just open spots in woodland. There's always a temptation to set them near something that's going to attract the wildlife, like a pheasant feeder or something like that. But if you're not careful, all you get is hundreds and hundreds of video clips or photos, depending on how you've got the camera set, of squirrels and rats and pigeons. So you do need to wade through a lot of those if you're going to set it near a feeder. The only exception to that rule for me is I'll sometimes set the camera over a gralloch. if I'm leaving a gralloch in the woods, set a camera near it, and it's really quite fascinating to see what comes along and how quickly the gralloch's cleared up. Usually 24 hours it's all gone. Well, that's all 3 cameras collected now, so I'm going to head home, get the laptop out and see what we've got, and hopefully if we've got anything I'll try and put a couple of clips onto this video from each of the cameras that we've collected today. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you found that interesting and possibly useful. If anyone has got any interesting clips that they'd like to share with us at the British Deer Society, please drop us an email. Our contact details are on the website. I'll put them at the end of this video too. We'd love to see your clips or your pictures, and with the right permission we can share them on our social media platforms. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you soon.